The dollar index is predicted to move 830 points, the euro 125 pips to the downside, the pound 216 pips to the downside, and Bitcoin to 28,000 US dollars to the downside. Hello and welcome to FX Acrobatics. I am the Acrobat, and today, if you stick with me, you'll find out why we have made the predictions on the previous slides. Let's go to the analysis. Alright, first up we have the economic calendar, and as you can see, it's from Monday, Tuesday all the way to Friday. We have a couple of high impact news of interest, so let's quickly go through them. Alright, as you can see up there, we have something for the euro at 330. This is during the London kill zone. So this chart is set to use the New York time. So this is 3:30 the morning New York time on Monday. So we're expecting high impact news. So we'll want to study that and see how it's going to affect the market. On Tuesday, we have some medium impact news here for the dollar. Now this is of interest to me because it's also occurring during the New York kill zone between this time here, 9:45 and 10:00 hours. So it will be of interest. All right, then the Kiwi NZD, there are some high impact news, so it would be nice to study this, but we cannot trade this because it's outside our kill zone. Maybe when we are much more seasoned traders, we will try at some other time, but with our skill level right now, we just have to study and appreciate this event when it happens. We won't engage with it because it is outside our kill zone. Now it's in the Asian range, so we'll see if we have some strategies that can be applied on the Asian range, then it's fine. We can work with that, but for now we'll just study it. And then on Wednesday we have the pound monetary policy report, high impact. This is during London kill zone, so it's within our range. We can take some shots there. All right, on Thursday, we have another high impact news for the dollar. Yeah, so this one is probably gonna do most of the moves. So yeah, and then on Friday we also have some high impact news for the dollar. So there's going to be a lot of movement this week, so that's why we are predicting so much movement on the previous slides. Okay, let's look at the dollar. This is the monthly chart. Let's put on some annotations there. Okay, now you can see here. All right, this is the dollar with some annotations on the monthly chart, as you can see up there. And you can see that we had this breaker that it moved from right here. We labeled it breaker, and we've been talking about this in all our weekly analysis. You can go back and watch those videos. You will actually see that we've been talking and addressing about these structures. So we have moved higher. It's not that hard to see. We've been moving higher, but look at the interesting stuff here. Price, we have this order block, right, which is also a breaker. When this candle moved above this one, it became a breaker. and we have this order block inside here which has provided support for price. You can see that it wasn't broken, this down close candle, and then price went up, created this order block again, and then it was tested somewhere here. Now not completely tested because we have this imbalance here, this buy side imbalance, so not completely rebalanced, which is good if we want to see some upside movement. And then price went into that breaker, that old bearish breaker, was rejected, and it went back again, got a little bit rejected back into this fair value gap or the buy side imbalance. So now it looks to me like there's a huge force trying to push price to break above this resistance level here, which is the breaker. So what we're going to do, we're going to assume that institutional order flow on the monthly chart is bullish. The other supporting evidence for that is that, of course, we had that breaker there, and here we got that push. Also, this order block here, which is a bearish order block, was broken as well. So it seems like price just wants to take out the resistance and go all the way up to a certain target. Okay, let's try to move quickly on this. There's quite a lot of stuff to cover. Okay, still the dollar index on the weekly chart. We'll also look at institutional order flow here. Let's bring the annotations. All right, so we can see we've been moving up here. We're highlighting some order blocks, some structures of interest. Yeah, you see here we got supported on this imbalance, and it went up. We have an order block up there. It's been rejected at that order block, so this order block has provided some kind of resistance, pushed back down, and we got support at this bullish order block right here, and now we are moving up. Now the idea is price will move to rebalance or seek liquidity. So here it went back to this order block, it stacked up some more orders, and there's liquidity now resting above this here. And if we break above this here, we will completely obliterate this order block as some form of resistance, and the next point where we can rebalance is here, this fair value gap here, which is also inside this bearish order block. So this is the next draw on liquidity on the weekly chart for the dollar index. Okay, on the daily chart, okay, this is the daily chart. We can see some upward movement. This could potentially be troublesome if we move to the downside, because this now looks like a low resistance liquidity run signature. So if it would happen to move down, it would really smash through this and potentially go down here. But I at the moment I have evidence, strong evidence supporting the upside, so I'm going to stick with that bias and probably wait for more information tomorrow on Monday. Now once we have that information, we'll be able to determine even better what the market is most likely to do. Right, the annotations, we have a volume imbalance right here that was rebalanced, and we have dipped into this order block up here, retest, and as I said, we are looking to go to the upside. So this is our draw on liquidity on the daily chart. We can see that this this area here, it should have provided some resistance, but it was smashed, and price, as I said, is trying to break a lot of resistance points, and it's finding it hard to do that because of all of this stuff right here. So anyway, we're still looking for the dollar to come up and take some liquidity above here. And if we go above here, I don't see them leaving this out here because there's an imbalance right there. Maybe we can go up and take it. So that's why my drawn liquidity is right there. Okay, let's look at the futures contract for the dollar for March 2022. As you can see here, dollar index March 2022 from barchart.com. We have open interest here, and then we have the commitment of traders. I'm only using the commercials. Now, usually when open interest goes up, you'll probably see a sell off shortly after that. So we see here we had a move for open interest going up, and at some point we started to see the commitment of traders report here showing that these guys are heavily short on the dollar, and you can see that decline shortly after. You can see from this point, this point matches that, and the rise of open interest, a significant rise in open interest. So now you saw that moving downwards, and here you have a little bit of a decline on open interest, and these guys here started to stack up some positions to the upside, as you can see here. With that decline in open interest, this guy is becoming bullish, and you can see that move to the upside. So what's happening now? Now from that point, you can see that it's a very small decline. It's a very small decline on open interest, but it's there, and you can see that this guy's a little bit putting up some bullish stance here. So this is a little bit bullish for the dollar. And another thing here, look at this volume imbalance right here. See, price has come down to it, didn't completely rebalance, which is good if we are to go to the upside. So just to dip into it, this volume imbalance here. You can go to the Inner Circle Traders channel to search for a video on volume imbalance on YouTube. You should be able to find one, and he explains this structure here. So this is there in his free material. So we have this dip here, and we'll expect price to come up above here to take liquidity. And if I go back to the previous annotations, you can see that on the forex.com chart, this volume imbalance appears to be completely closed, yet on the futures contract it shows that it wasn't completely rebalanced, which is good. So that's why the brokers have that allowance to take price a little bit deep here. As you can see, they pushed it all the way to the order block here, but the actual one is just stays on the volume imbalance. All right, let's look at the euro. This is the monthly chart for the euro, and let's throw in some annotations. Okay, so we are still trying to build the idea that the dollar is going up and the euro should be seen to go down this week. Of course, we can be completely wrong, and we will know by tomorrow, Monday. We'll see if price is not willing to conform to our predictions, and that's still fine. You know, we will learn from it, and we'll see what mistakes we made, and we'll log that on our journal. Yeah, speaking of a journal, the video for that is coming up very, very soon. Okay, let's move through this very quickly. Okay, the monthly chart. You can see here we came from this high, this low, went up there, optimal trade entry to go down, and we've been going down. You can see we have some bullish order blocks, this one, here we took it out and it became a breaker, so that's a market structure shift, and now we are going down. So we are smashing through support structures. For example, these order blocks here, so we are smashing through them. And if you look at this for this month, we've gone back into this imbalance here as we marked it up, took some liquidity and were rejected to the downside. It didn't completely close, by the way. Even though we came up here, it didn't completely close, which is good if we want to see some downside action. So now we have dipped into this breaker, so we'll see if it wants to continue to the downside. Let's go down to the lower time frame. This is the weekly chart of the euro. Let's throw in some annotations. Okay, as you can see here, we have that imbalance, and this thing is just smashing through the structures of support and showing a huge willingness to go down on the euro here. So you can see that institutional order flow is bearish. Look at this order block. See this order block? Look at when price came back to it right here. It was resisted. This is another order block here. Push price down. Look at this one here. This order block. When price came in, see that? Pushed back. So now we are here, and this is an imbalance. So that's another structure of resistance. So came in and it's been pushed to the downside. So we're expecting price to at least get down here to seek liquidity. So our institutional order flow for the week is bearish for the euro. Okay, going down to the daily chart, as you can see, same thing. Throw in some annotations, and we can see that stop run right there. There's some relative equal highs there, and this just came right in there, took them out, didn't completely close this imbalance. There's an imbalance here, didn't close it completely, which is good if we want to go to the downside, as I said. So now we've come back into what's out here. There's something there. Okay, I see it now. Unfortunately, I cannot state what that is. I'm not allowed to mention what is there, but the fact that price rejected here, there's a structure of resistance that Michael has not revealed publicly yet, so I'll leave that out for now, but just know that there's something there that caused price to move down, just like your order blocks, your breakers. So there's a bearish structure at this point that caused price to reject and go down, and so we're expecting it to come down below this first, and then potentially to the midpoint of this imbalance, this high, this low here, this space. That's why we have our drawn liquidity placed at this point. All right, the euros futures contract for March 2022 from barchart.com. You can see that price went into this order block here and got rejected, so now it's coming down. All right, as I've mentioned earlier about open interest, as you can see, open interest has been slightly going up here. You can see the angle here, you can see that this thing is opening up a bit, and you can see the commitment of traders report here. The commercials are net short here. Rise in open interest, commercials net short. we have a rejection at an order block. Institutional order flow is bearish, so we'll be expecting it to come down and probably rebalance this volume imbalance here. If you find time, go and look at it very nicely. It should be able to come and rebalance that, or even smash even deeper, or even below this. We'll see. Right, the British pound monthly chart annotations. All right, you can see that price has come. You can see that price went up here into this here. This is an order block, this green candle, and price went into it, got rejected. It's trying again to get above it, but there's liquidity down here. All right, so let's try to see what's going on the lower time frame. This is the weekly chart. You can see the annotations. Order block here, price went into it, got rejected, smashed through these two, came back into this order block, got rejected, and got rejected at this order block here. This is a bullish order block, that's a bearish one. This could cause some kind of consolidation, which I think we saw on the daily, we'll see on the daily chart. So it went down here, now went back in there. There's another block here, and it's been rejected here. So now it's trying to come down. So we'll see what will happen on the lower time frame. Let's see that consolidation there. So this is because of those PDRAs, structures of resistance and structures of support here. It can't decide where it wants to go between these two, but by doing that here, it has created a low resistance liquidity run signature here. So if it falls off, it could smash all the way to the downside, somewhere down there. So yeah, you will see those 216 pips coming out. All right, the futures contract for the pound, March 22 by chart.com. I think I've explained this on the dollar index and the euro, the open interest and the commercials on the commitment of traders report. So they are net short, and price is not willing to go up here. It's stuck at this order block right there. So it's been trying to dig into it. So if it fails to get above that, it should smash through. If it's successful, there's a volume imbalance there, which might cause price to go back down. So we'll see. Another supporting piece of information is Smt Divergence. I always like to look at that. So when you go to compare the weekly charts of the dollar index, the euro and the pound, you can see that this low here and this higher low made by the dollar index here, there's a high and a higher high made by the euro. Now when the euro made a higher high but the dollar index made a higher low, it should have made a lower low here. So because of that, the pound also failed to make a comparable high to the euro. That is Smt Divergence. So we look at this one as a stop run, because this one is not willing to go down to match this, which means it's strong, it wants to go up. This one is not willing to go up, so it's weak, it wants to go down. So we see the odd one out as a stop run, just to take some liquidity here before it goes down. As you can see here, that's exactly what happened. After it took liquidity, fall off. So now liquidity has been taken on the upside, so we should expect liquidity to be taken on the downside. So that's why we are expecting the euro to go down, the pound down, and the dollar index to go up. All right, let's look at Bitcoin. This is the weekly chart of Bitcoin, and we've been looking at Bitcoin in the past few weeks, and we did an analysis on Bitcoin earlier. Go back and look at this video here where we were trying to predict where Bitcoin is gonna go in 2022, and we said that it was following an ICT market maker sell model up here when it was around what, 41,000, and then it fell off from that point there all the way down. It almost met our target, but it then went up to rebalance this CB here. This is an imbalance, so it went back to rebalance and got rejected because this is a structure of resistance. There's also an order block here. See this bullish order, this is a bearish order block. There's this green candle here. When it's violated by this here, engulfed, becomes that. So Bitcoin went back up to that and got resisted hard going down. So we should see Bitcoin seeking some liquidity below these, and eventually those relative equal lows there. So now we're even looking for lower prices after this has happened. So my next target for Bitcoin is around 28,000, which is below these relative equal lows, and it will complete the market maker sell model, the ICT market maker sell model. So yeah, that's Bitcoin. Now I know there's a lot of stuff to unpack here, but yeah, we will get down to it. I think I will start with the video on the trading journal so that we can start tracking our predictions and making corrections each and every day. As I said at the beginning of this, I am not an expert in trading. I am just a guy who has learned the ICT concept, who has been trying to be profitable for a long time and not finding anything. So I thought maybe we can come together, you know, birds of the same feathers flock together, so they say. We are all unable to be profitable, so maybe if we can study the market together with bits and pieces there that we find on smart money concepts like ICT, bring them together and then work on that and see if we can be profitable together. And as I said, I'm not perfect, I'm not a professional trader, I'm just learning. So you learn with me. If you see some mistakes that I'm making, you can write to me at fxacrobatics@gmail.com, or you can just write on the comments and I will look at that, get back to you, and we'll look at it together and I will make the corrections. Yeah, so in order to succeed, you have to find some kind of a way to work, and this is the way.